What's up, gangsters? Today what we're going to be doing is going over how to shove it, how to pop shove it, how to frontside shove it, and we're going to do them in fakie as well. I'm going to teach you how to finally commit and get both feet on the board at one time. We've got a couple of hacks for that actually do work, that I've proven with students of my own, and maybe even a cheeky little 1 foot catch. With all that being said, let's get into the first one. Alright, so there's a few different techniques that we're going to cover in this video. The first one is how you're actually going to get the board to and hit the 180. We're going to start with backside, then we're going to do the backside tricks, and then we're going to go to front side, and it's going to be all in the chapter selection at the bottom. So if you want to skip ahead or skip a section, you feel free to do so there. So first of all, get yourself a board with no trucks and wheels. Not 100% necessary. I'm going to go over the other steps in a minute, but this is a good help. So first of all, to get the spin, you're going to have your back foot on the outer facing side of the tail. So not here, but here. So like your toes are just hanging off this section here, and then you're going to imagine like your feet are gripping the board, like your toes are gripping it like this, and then you're going and kicking behind you like that. There's a great way to figure out how to get this done, and it's real simple. Find yourself a card like this. This is a hotel key card. You can use a Pokemon card, a Yu-Gi-Oh card, a Digimon card. Okay, so you're going to put the card on the floor. You're going to imagine your deck is right here. So this is your front foot on the deck. You're going to put your back foot on the card, and then just like I showed you with that, you're going to kick back, and the idea is to make the card go directly behind you. So like that, and then aim to land on the front foot again first. So I'll show you from the front. Foot on the card, scoot that back, aim to land on this foot first, as if you're like stepping like that, okay? So do that motion, and then stop and stop. That's how you get a 1 foot catch, and it also stops the board from over rotating. So now that you've got that, practice that a bunch. By the way, I'll put a slow-mo too over the top so you can really see what my foot is doing if you couldn't grasp it from just my words. Because you might be like me, I only learn from seeing things visually and then trying them. But anyway, so now that we've got this board, we're going to do the exact same motion. Foot on that corner, scoot back and step forward with this one. So like that. You can just almost land just on 1 foot, because the board's not going to go or slip out anywhere. You can stop the rotation like that, and even if you want to go 360, you can do the same thing. Okay, now, and I'll be trying to trick you if I said that doing it on the carpet board was just as easy as doing it on a regular board, because it's honestly not, to be honest. Now that we know what we're doing with that, what we're doing with our back foot, we're going to practice it on this board. Now, all we need to do is put our foot in that exact same position. Don't even stand on the board for now, and just do the and practice getting the board to do a 180. As you've seen, the board did an exact shove it right there, and you don't even really need to pop. You can just scoop like that, and as long as the board does a 180, then you can essentially do a shove it. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. The best way, in my opinion, is to land with the front foot first, and then it's just like a step. You don't have to do like a really high jump and risk landing primo or whatever. You just step forward with that front foot. And a great way to keep balance is to have your hands down like this. That way that when you go, you're leaning forward already, which is where the board goes, and you're not going to be like, for example, if you have your arms like this, or like beside you, then when you do the shove it, you don't go with the board as easily. So having the arms down in front of you matters a lot. Stop with the front foot, and that's your shove it. That's the most basic variation of the shove it. We're going to go over pop shove it next. Let's get into it. Okay, so now we're here and we're going to do a pop shove it. The only difference with this one is we're going to push a little bit harder down on the back foot as we kick it behind us. So same motion as we did with the card, like this, and then behind us, but we're going to combine it with a little bit of pop. And for this one, you don't even have to have your foot like dead in the center like you would with an ollie to get the pop. If you just have your foot somewhere in between for that first one I just showed you, so somewhere in between right on the edge and in the middle, so like on the outer facing corner around like here. Say if you're going to pop an ollie from there, you'd pop the shove it from here. And same motion with the front foot, just aim to catch it with the front foot first, like that. And that is how to do the pop shove it. But obviously it's going to take a lot more practice than that, and I would recommend highly to do many shove-its without the pop first. So just do them like that, tons and tons and tons, until you feel like you're ready to fully pop it, and then you should end up with something like this. Okay, how are we going to get the 1 foot catch though? For this one, you're gonna have to have a lot of practice in the shove it realm. You're not gonna be able to just land the shove it first time and then all of a sudden have your leg out like this when you're catching it. It doesn't work like that. You gotta put in a lot of practice to get these tricks nicely like this. And when I always show people, I always get like opinions from my friends. I'll be like, which one of these shove its looks the best? They always tell me the one with the 1 foot catch and the extended leg looks the best. It's always the fan favorite. So if you wanna steeze it up, you're gonna have to do the shove it. And this time, we're gonna try and keep our leg as far out as possible until the last second. So obviously, a little bit safer stationary. Let's do it with the carpet board first. Again, the carpet board helps with a lot of different stuff, especially with this. We're gonna aim to have our back foot out like this. What you don't wanna do is you don't wanna like pull it up like this and like bend your leg because that just doesn't look as good. You wanna keep your leg as straight as possible and as far out behind you as possible. So if you were to do just an ollie version, it would be like that. Obviously, it doesn't look very good with ollie, but shove it, you're gonna do the same thing, leg out, catch with the front foot. And it takes a lot of practice, trust me. Because you really have to aim your front foot to land on the board nicely to get the stability on the land with the leg out. Just like that. This is much easier in the front shove version, but nonetheless, I think the backside looks pretty cool too. What do you think, babes?
I really like it.
She really likes it.
I really like it.
There you go, you heard it from a woman first.
Easy.
Say that again.
Easy.
And then, once you've put in the practice, bear in mind I'm going to give you a commitment hack towards the end of the video for all of these, so don't you worry if you can't get both feet on, because we're going to go over that, and if you just need that, again, skip to the chapter at the end. Here we go. This is what it's going to look like when you get enough practice on it. Okay, so the first commitment hack we've got here, you're going to see this in a few of my videos. I've done this in the kickflip one. We're going to use some electrical tape because it sticks to the concrete and you can easily peel it back up when you're done. What you're going to do is you're going to find out where your bolt holes are and you're going to do one diagonal like that. So we're going to take that off, put that down right there, and then put another one on so it's X marks the spot, right? So that is part one of our landing zone. You're going to put your board back on top just so you can make sure they're all lined up. And then what we're going to do, take another piece of tape. We're going to go corner to corner again, just like that. Put that there, and then again, X marks the spot because this is going to be our landing zone. Remember, it doesn't need to be like pixel perfect, but as long as you can have a little landing zone, that's all that matters. Then we just need two more, one for our tail. So if we put this back on there like that, then we've got our tail, which is going to be right here. Just put it on the very tip of the tail, like there. So that's where our foot starts, our back foot starts, and this is where our feet are gonna land. That's our landing zone, if you will. And the only other thing we need is a flick path for our back foot, or a scoop path it should be. So that's gonna be this way. So what you do is you start with your foot there, back foot on your starting zone, and then you're gonna have your front foot in between the two X's, and you're gonna use your back foot to follow this line here and then aim to land on the bolts again. So you're gonna go just like that. This one doesn't work for everybody, but I've had so many people message me since I put this one in my kickflip video saying that it helped them get commitment. So practice it like this, just literally, like I said before, back foot on the tail section, follow the line and then land on the bolts. The board doesn't always stay directly beneath you, but this gets you used to not like backing out or going to the side. It just keeps you in the ballpark you need to be in. So that is our commitment hack for the first one. I think that pretty much covers the backside shove it. We've done the arms, we've done everything you need for the pop. Now all we need to do is go over the front side shove it. Okay, so next we've got the front shove it. Now, we're gonna use the same card trick, but I'm gonna teach you the different way you need to kick it in order to get the front shove it. So obviously this is a back shove it. The board spins in front of you. Funny enough, that's the back shove it. If the board spins behind you, that's a front shove it. I don't know, weird, right? But that is how it works. Just generally how the board spins, but yeah. So back shove it like that, front shove it like that. I'll tell you why, it's because it's the way that the board goes. So because with a back shove it, the tail goes behind you, so that's your back, right? So the tail goes behind you and ends up in front of you, that's back shove it. With this one, the tail goes in front of you. So look, the tail spins in front of me, that's why it's front shove it and back shove it. It can be confusing though, so don't get me wrong, if you can't figure it out, you're not the only one. Front shove it, front foot in the same spot, Back foot though, instead of being on the outer corner for the back shove it like there, we're gonna have it for this, and we're gonna have it on this corner for the front shove it. And even having the foot at like a 45-degree angle helps a lot as well. So instead of having it there, we're having it there for the front. And then what you wanna do is you wanna kick that way, kick that way, kick that way, and the board will spin that way. So with the card, foot at the 45-degree angle and kick, and then jump a tiny bit backwards to compensate for the board spinning behind you. So I'll show you one more time. Card on the floor, like this. Kick the card in a diagonal direction and aim to land on the front foot first, just like we did with the backside shove it. Just like that. Now we're gonna take it onto the carpet board, the concrete carpet board, and we're going to aim to do the exact same thing, land with the front foot first and stop the rotation. Just like that. And I think the front foot catch on this one actually looks way cooler. And in my opinion, I find it way more consistent to do. Here's a carpet board version. I think it looks much better in my opinion. And Holly does too. So that's the carpet board variation to do it. Just practice that tons, get your backside shoves, get your frontside shoves, and then you're ready to bring it to the regular board. Holly's gonna try and do it just to prove how achievable it is. So are you trying to do backside shove it?
Backside.
Okay, so backside, put this foot here, and then scoot behind you. You've done this before on a carpet board, I swear. So,
Oh.
it's stuck to the ground. Go on, you can do it. You can do it, babes, you can do
I'm
it.
not putting that in because you just said to prove how easy it is, and obviously it's not for me.
There you go. See, you just didn't have the technique right.
That was so much effort.
Go on, you can do it again. You can land it. There you go. Both feet on there. Could have been cleaner, but we like it anyway.
Front side.
She's going to try front side now. What do you think?
I reckon I could do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, do you know what it is? I'm not doing the arms.
Yeah, you got your arms behind you. You need to put them out in front. Close. Well done. Yeah, if even Holly can pull off a backside shove it with like no skate experience whatsoever, except from filming behind the camera.
Some skate experience. I did break my elbow.
She has broken her elbow on a skateboard, but she's never fully committed to like more than a week or two of actually training.
Yeah.
But it's not her thing, which is cool. She prefers to film it. But yeah, if Holly can do it after breaking her elbow, then you can do it too. There's no excuses. Now we're going to take it to the normal board and we're going to replicate the exact same foot motion with the back foot. So the front shove is harder not to pop, but I'd start with really slow or even stationary and just practice the exact same thing. You're going to land like that a few times. You're going to step off. But honestly, again, you can take your foot off and just practice it by putting your foot in that corner, the one closest to you, like I said, and just kicking ahead of you. And just do this like 100, 1,000 times if you're feeling not very confident, and just keep doing it until you can perfect the 180 just like that. Okay, so now that we've got the foot motion and the form of the trick, we know what we're doing. We're kicking it front side. We know what we're doing. Now we're gonna go for this with a little bit of speed, and again, aim to stop it with the front foot like that. This one is much easier to pop just because it's harder to do the almost no pop version. So just practice pushing down and kicking in the direction that we showed with the card, just like this. So once you've perfected that, you're going to bring it to the board, have a few sketchy ones like that, and eventually you'll get a clean one. Right, so now I'm going to show you how to catch it properly with the front foot and do the back leg stees. Like I said, I much prefer this one to the backside shove it, and you're going to want to do the same thing, and it's going to take a lot of practice, like I said a few minutes ago, but aim to catch with that foot and keep this foot straight and out like this. This one, I would say maybe a little bit harder just because of the way the board's spinning behind you, but definitely looks better in my opinion. We'll start with a stationary one with the 1 foot catch. So aim to kick this leg out, keep it straight as high as you can. That was a bit too much effort. Sometimes you'll tic-tac when you land, but that's all right. As you can see, it still happens to me sometimes. And there we go. That's how you kick the leg out while stationary or just moving slowly. And the better you get at it, make sure you got a nice bit of space to roll up and roll away. Make sure you keep your arms front and center, like with the backside, so the board stays underneath you, and then just give it one of those. I will put the slow-mo of a really extravagant back leg kick on the screen right now, so you can see what the perfect version in my eyes would look like. But yeah, that is the front side shove it. Now we're just going to cover them both in fakie. Oh, and by the way, if you want to do the tape glitch for the front side shove it, it's exactly the same. A section for your tail, a section for your bolt holes that is your landing zone, and then you're just going to put, instead of having the flick tape on the back to do a back shove it, we're going to have it on the front to follow the front kick path, which is actually probably going to be more like a 45-degree angle. You have your back foot there, front foot in the middle of the two X's, and then you just kick your back foot to follow the line and jump onto the X's at the same time. So just like that, just like that, just like that. And that is how you use the tape trick for the front side shove it. You can adapt this to any trick, and it really does help. Honestly, many people have told me that this has helped them learn kickflips like I did it in my kickflip video, so give it a try. Who knows, you might land your first one. So this section is going to be super quick because obviously once you've learned the forward variations, the fakie ones are going to be easy. The fakie ones might even be easier to learn at first, but a lot of people don't like riding backwards, so I can see why you might leave this till afterwards. So follow all the tips you have done in this video, and by then you should be able to at least land a basic front shover and at least a basic back shover. Remember, keep your arms in front of you, put your foot in the places that I told you to in previous parts of this video, stop it with the front foot, and ride away clean. So we're going to do the same thing, but riding fakie. And if anything, you get a slightly better momentum because you're already riding backwards, so the back foot does less effort. Just like that. You see how easy that shove it came round? Just watch my back foot and how little effort. It does the exact same movement as the regular facing shove it. And then the front foot is easier to stop the board because of the momentum of you riding backwards. It's by far the easiest way to shove it, in my opinion. And you can catch it with the front foot quite easily, but I think it's a bit harder to get a really exaggerated front leg because rolling backwards is just a slight bit more sketchy, you know, but you still can do it, just a bit of practice. Now let's go over front side. All right, so front side shove it is what we're going to go over next, in fakie of course. Same foot movement, same everything, except less effort on the tail for the back, the kick, in order to scoop the board around, and just aim to land on that front foot first. All you got to remember is it requires less effort on the pop, on the tail, and you ride away a lot easier. Just make sure that when you land, you bend your knees and you have your feet as spread apart as you can. The last thing you want to do is land like this, or even worse, land like this. So just do your best to land crouched over the bolts as possible. And again, it's a bit harder to steeze the leg out in fakie, but it can still be done. Now there's one more thing to go over, and that's at the climbing frame. I'm going to show you how to fully commit if you can't figure it out after all these tips, which don't worry, some people just need to be shown this last way, which is a great hack in my opinion, so we're going to film that now. Right, so this final section I'll go over fairly quickly as we've covered it in the kickflip video, but it's very simple. Find yourself some bars. If you can find something around waist height, that's perfect. And if you can find something with 2 bars, that's even better. But obviously this is going to be a bit rarer, so 1 bar is going to be just fine, and I'll show you with both. So everything that we've learned already, from the shove it and the front shove it, the foot position, the scoop, we're going to replicate that here. But if we can't commit, we're going to hold ourselves in the air till the board finishes spinning and then land just like that. So simple, do exactly what I taught you earlier, and then just hold yourself in the air until the board finishes spinning. With the backside shove it, it's going to look like this. Then drop yourself on there. And with the front side shove it, just make sure you leave yourself enough space and it will look like this. And then just hold yourself up until you can land back on. Do that a ton of times until you can commit. Remember, I've told you a story about a young girl that I was teaching. I managed to get her from doing 0 shove-its, or I think she did 1 before total, to doing 10 in a row just off practicing off this. And I don't mean 10 on this, I mean 10 on the concrete. So this works, and I've proved it time and time again. And finally, if you've just got 1 pole, same situation, just hold yourself in the air and then land back on. Just see if the board flips, then you can just not land on the board. Simple. Extra safe until you're doing it perfectly, and then do that. Then for front shove, and then drop yourself back on. And that is how to commit. Now that you've got your commitment, make sure you send this to someone who's learning how to shove it, and let me know what you want to learn next, and maybe I'll consider doing it. I'll see you in the next one.